Greetings, my name is Paul, and I am the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs, and I'm also the administrator of the PopOS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Proton VPN on PopOS Linux 22.04. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so here's my pop installation here. Let me show you my fast fetch screen to prove that I'm actually in a pop session, okay? Pop 22.04, and we're going to install Proton VPN on here. Okay, so we can clear on that. And then we're going to install Proton VPN, and we're going to then launch it GUI and command line wise. Let's see that's not already here, right? Let's just prove that it's not already here by going into our application folder, looking for Proton. And no Proton, and then when we're done, obviously it'll be here in the P section. Okay, so Proton's not here. When we're done, we'll spot it and try to launch it from the application folder, maybe from the file manager and from the command line. But for right now, it's not installed, and we're going to install it. The way we're going to install it, I don't know if there's a standalone deb file anymore for Proton VPN. There used to be, in a standalone RPM for RPM-based distros. So we're going to have to do things a little bit differently. So we're going to do things differently and install Proton a little bit different than just the usual downloading of a standalone .deb installer. Okay. So back with the first step in a moment. Okay, the first step we're going to execute is downloading the repo configuration and keys. So you're going to have to key all this in here. But first, you're going to have this wget download utility installed on your pop installation. If it's not installed, install it with sudo apt install wget. Then you can go ahead and use wget and pass this into it here, so it downloads. Looks like it's just downloading a deb file here. I don't see anything that relates to a key, although the documentation says this is supposed to also deal with keys as well. So I don't see anything that relates to keys, but I do see it's going to probably download a .deb file here, and then let's see if it installs it in our download folder or in our home folder. So this is the first step here, to download this deb file with wget, okay? And it's going to be stable version 1.0.3. Okay, so once you have that keyed in, let's download and then see what happens. Okay, that was pretty good. Let's give it a quick little look here. Connected 200 HTTP response, downloaded the deb file. Okay, so there should be a deb file downloaded and saved. Let's see where it's at. I'm going to first check the download folder. I don't think it's going to be in here because it wasn't downloaded by the browser. But we'll take a quick little look here anyway. So Proton, right? Yeah, see, it's not there. So it's probably in our home. So we'll CD back to our home here. Clear on that, and we're in the home here. Okay, so let's see if it's here. Let's try to spot it here. And okay, here it is right here. Okay, so it's going to be in your home folder, not your download folder. Okay, so that's the first step, downloading and spotting the .deb file, and then on to the next step. But I'm going to go ahead and clear my screen first and be back with the next step. Okay, so the next step we're going to execute is we're going to go ahead and use dpackage to install this .deb file, and then we're going to update apt index so it becomes. Now I'm not sure if it's going to add a source to our sources list. Let's check this one's a little tricky for me to try to figure out how they're working it here. So let's just see what what our sources list already has in here. And let's see if it's going to install anything extra. So extra sources here from the pop shop. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So will there be an 8th one here when we're done relating to Proton? Okay, so we'll come back and check that in a moment. Let's see what happens when we execute this command first. Okay, so we're going to execute the dpackage command on that deb file, which is in our home folder here. So you want to be here in your home folder where it lives. So it's going to do something with this deb file. I think it's I don't know if it's going to actually install it or if it's just going to add to our sources list. So let's see what happens with this. So once you have this whole string keyed in here, sudo dpackage with the -i flag in the same folder that the deb file lives in, and then it's going to use the AND logical operator. So once this executes successfully and evaluates successfully, then it's going to go ahead and evaluate the second expression, which is going to update APT so it becomes aware of that sources, that new repo source. So let's see what happens here. I'm a little excited to find out myself. Okay, so we're going to enter on that, and let's see if it's just going to add a repo to our sources list. But it's not going to install Proton at this point, I don't believe. So let's take a quick little look here. And let's see here, Proton, that was the unpacking the deb file there. Then if you take a little look down here, you'll see something to do with Proton, I hope. That doesn't look like it there. Yeah, right here. Okay, so it did add an entry into our sources list here for Proton VPN. Okay, so that should be good there. And another one looks like here, another entry here. Okay, so that was good, and it actually at the same time updated the APT cache or index or whatever you want to call it. So APT becomes aware that there's a new repo we can pull from and install VPN once we issue the proper command. Okay, so that was good. But at this point, Proton VPN has not been installed yet. So we'll clear on that. We'll minimize that, and we'll just take a quick little look just to see if Proton actually has been installed. I'm not expecting that it has been, and it's not here. Okay, so we're good there. Let's check our repo sources list again. Pop shop, hamburger menu, system software sources, and then the extra sources tab here. What did we have before? We had 7, and we should have 8 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 8, and we have Proton. Okay, we're all good there. Okay, so now I see how it works. So I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work there. Okay, so we've installed whatever keys, I think. There was something to do with the keys in the first step. We've installed the Proton repo to our sources list and updated APT. So now I think we're clear to take the next step and use APT to install Proton. So back with that third step. Okay, if you want to check the integrity of the Proton VPN repo, go ahead and execute this command here, and we'll check the checksum of the repo. Now let's see. Let's try to break this down really quick here. It's gonna go ahead and do a little piping here. This is probably what it's supposed to be, and then it's going to pipe that into this command here, where it's actually going to go ahead and check to see what actually is attached to that repo. So whatever's in the repo should match this value here. So let's see what happens with that. Let's check the integrity here with this command. Okay, let's see here. Proton stable one all dot. Okay, this looks pretty good. I thought it was going to echo out a matching hash or whatever, but this looks like it passed the integrity check by checking the checksum of the repo. Okay, so I think at this point we're pretty secure that we can be pretty confident that the repo is safe to use. So we can go ahead and install Proton from it. Okay, so we're good there. It's always good to do a little security. I know it's something that's overlooked by people to check the integrity of an ISO or a repo, but it's always good to, just like it's always good to have security on your online accounts with multi-factor authentication, it's good to check the integrity of downloaded ISO and repo files or whatever. Well, ISO files and repo sources that have been added to your sources list. Okay, so we're good there. I feel confident that we can go ahead and go on to the next step and use APT to install Proton VPN. So back with that next step. Okay, fourth step here, and if you don't have Proton VPN already, this is the command to issue here. Sudo apt install proton-vpn-gnome-desktop. So we're going to go ahead and install here. I'm expecting for it to be version 1.0.3-3. So let's see what happens when we install Proton VPN from the repo there. Okay, so enter on that. Okay, it's going to install. I do believe that these will probably be all considered a lot of dependencies. These are suggested. I'm going to skip that. I'm just going to go ahead and download and install the required dependency packages here. 31 looks like. Okay, so it's going to use 33 megabytes of disk space, which I have covered, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and enter on this. Since Y is it's capitalized, Y will be the default selection, so you don't really have to key anything in there. I'm going to go ahead and enter on that. Let it download and install the dependencies, and let's see how long it's going to take. It's going pretty quickly here. So I'll just keep the video rolling for a minute here. It looks like it's going pretty fast. Downloading and installing the dependencies. 80%. Everything looks like it's going pretty smoothly here. And we've reached the end, looks like. Okay, good. Alright, that was pretty quick. So we'll clear on that. Now, we'll check the version in a minute, but if it isn't already the most current version, the beauty of installing a repo to your sources list is that you don't really have to go hunting for new versions. When you do your standard apt update and upgrade command like this, then it should check that repo, and if there's a new version of Proton VPN in this case, it'll just pull it right in. So let's see if it pulls anything in at this point. Otherwise, when we launch it, we'll look for version 1.0.3-3 or something like that. 1.03-3, I guess. Okay, so nothing came in. So we're good there, looks like. Okay, so it's been installed. Now it's about spotting it and trying to launch it via GUI and command line methods. Okay? So, back with the next step to try to find it and launch it. Okay, so we've installed Proton VPN at this point, the Proton VPN client on Pop! OS. Okay, now let's try to spot it and launch it a couple, 2 or 3 different ways here. First, we're going to go into our application folder in the library home here, and it's right there, boom, in the P section. That wasn't there before, it's there now. You can left click on that and install it and launch it that way, or you can do a right click and pin the dash. Okay, we'll just do that. Okay, then just a right click doesn't really do anything. Then just do a left click. Let's see. I do have a Proton VPN account. So I'm going to go ahead and looks like it's asking me for what's going to be asking here for my username. Well, let me try to fish that out. I got my password remembered. Usually it has this already filled in your username. So let me see what my username is off camera, and then I'll be back and try to log in here. Okay, so I hunted down my actual username, and I keyed in my password, and I logged into my Proton VPN account. Okay, so everything looks good at this point. Here's the client here. Okay, I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs. I just want to get a quick little connect here. I'm just going to go, I've used it before, and I just did a quick connect here, and I think it automatically defaulted to United States. Otherwise, I would just come down here. Let's see what this does here. Alright, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick connect and see if it actually uses the United States server here. Disconnected. I'm going to click on quick connect. Let's see what this does here. Hopefully we'll get a United States connection. And that looks like that worked. We're connected to this right here. I do believe if you go down into United States section here, you'll find this entry here and here as a free server. So that looks like that worked out pretty good. Okay, so that was fine. So I'm going to disconnect on that, X that out. You can also go into your graphical file manager, Nautilus, here on Pop! OS. And let's see, right here. You can right click on it and do something here. I do believe open, not without the application. I would say, yeah, I don't know. Open with other application. I'm not sure. I don't want to get into trying to figure out on camera here which one to actually run here. Or let's do a quick little double click and see that does the same thing. Okay, it's bringing up Eddie. So I don't really think you need to really worry about what's going on here in the graphical file manager part of things, except only to uninstall stuff. So you can go ahead and just forget this part right here, looks like. And then we're going to go into the command line and try to find it here. Okay, so the name of the app or the package we install is Proton VPN. So that's always a good starting point. I go by whatever the name is, just the base, whatever the name I've been using, rather than trying to figure out all the different variations of it. It's a good starting point. Of course, you can always look at the documentation for whatever app you're trying to launch from the command line, or Google it, or AI it, or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and just try to go with Proton VPN at this point. And after each character I enter, I'm going to hit the tab key and see if anything auto-completes. Okay, that was good. So I went P-R-O-T, and I tabbed over, and I found the actual accurate keyword here to launch Proton VPN. So yeah, see, I wouldn't have thought about using the word app here, or the app here. I wouldn't have thought about using app here. I would have just started with Proton VPN and then try to find my way from there. But as you can see, it is Proton VPN-app. Okay, let's get some help here if we can. Okay, we do get some help here. So you can do -H and get some usage information here. There's not much here really. Okay, but you can come here in the terminal and get some usage information here. There's not much. There's not even a version here, I don't believe. Unless it's up here. Yeah, I don't see a version here either. We'll check the version when we launch it, or we can actually go in here and check there. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for... let's try one more thing, actually. Let me try one more thing here. Let's see if I can actually get a version. Let's see if... I know it wasn't there, but let's see if that actually shows the version. Something's coming up, but I don't see anything along the lines of 1.03 or anything like that. Anyway, I don't know. That's probably not going to work anyway. So we'll clear on that, and we'll go back into Proton one more time here, just by itself, to launch it this way. This would, and if it launches from here, that means it's already on the path variable, and we don't have to put the Proton VPN binary on the path variable. It's already there. Let's see what happens. Okay, it looks like it's already on the path. Let's see if it's going to actually open. I should have killed this right here. But let's see if it brings something up here. Okay, that was good. So it is on the path, and it launches from the terminal with that keyword. Okay, and let's see if there's anywhere here that I can check the version real quick. About. Okay, then there's a bunch of other things to check here. Let me just check the version real quick, and that should bring that up. Okay, 4.3.2. Okay, I was expecting 1.0.3. I need to look into that, but this is much more than 1.0.3. Okay, so that's good though. Anyway, so you can go here, this drop-down menu here, and go through your settings and some other options there. Okay. So once we kill that, it kills the back end, and if you kill the back end process, it'll kill the front end. So these two things have to work in tandem. So that's why I always say the command line is kind of Plan B. Plan A would always be, a GUI launch option here from the application folder there. Okay. So we'll clear on that, and you're wondering why it's already on the path, right? Well, let's see what happens if we try to find it and see where it actually lives. Okay, so it's on user bin here. And if you echo out the value in your path variable like this, let's see, $, capital P8, okay? And if you get the values that are stored in your path variable, you'll see user bin is already there on the path. So anything that's placed in that path is going to already be on the path variable, and you can then, you know, work with it in the command line. Okay, user bin here, user bin. Okay, that's what made it usable right off the bat in the terminal, and we didn't have to actually add any kind of a path to our path variable in our bash RC file and then source it and all that kind of stuff. It's already been done for you. So that was it. So we installed Proton VPN. Looked like 4.3.2 on Pop! OS Linux 22.04, and we added the repo to our sources list, so it'll auto update itself. And we launched it a couple different ways from the application folder here, okay, and from the command line with that Proton VPN-app keyword. And I don't think it was viable to do it from your graphical file manager here. So I would just stick with the application folder here. This GUI method has plan A, and then from the command line is plan B. So if you have any problems launching or using, you can come and launch it from the terminal and maybe get some output that you might be able to use to debug launch and or usage issues. Okay? And then there's in the documentation there's actually a way where you can actually add a tray icon. I don't want to get into that, but if you want a tray icon, then there's documentation on there on the Proton VPN page where you can add a tray icon to GNOME here. But we don't have it, we just have it down here on the dock. So that'll suffice for me for right now. Okay, so yeah, that was how to install Proton VPN client on Pop! OS. The repos and all that. We did all the repo stuff, APT, we installed it, we launched it a couple different ways, and it'll auto update. And then we logged in. I was able to log in. It launched. I was able to log in with my Proton VPN login, and I was able to connect to an actual server in the United States for free, since I have a free plan. So everything looked like it worked pretty good there, and this should work for you. Before there was a standalone .deb, I don't think that exists anymore. So this seems to be the new way of doing it for Proton VPN. Okay, so that was how to install Proton VPN on Pop! OS Linux 22.04. And once again, I am Paul, and I am the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs. I'm also the administrator of the Pop! OS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. Please join. We talk about Pop and other distros and other tech news and whatnot. It's a pretty open group. And I would at this point like to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And until my next video, a happy Linuxing. Thank you.